Thanks for choosing to start the day with us. Family Life Mornings.
If you're driving into work this morning and you hear a ping in your engine, it's probably not good, right? Maybe just because it's cold, but sometimes you hear a ping in there. Have you ever heard a ring in your engine?
No, I don't think I have. No.
How about, have you ever seen a ring? I mean, there's piston rings in the engine, right? You're impressed that I know that much about cars.
I was going to say, if you say so.
Will was taking apart this car that he had bought for parts when he saw something really sparkly and kind of valuable. And so he called the guy he bought the car from, and he was like, I found this ring. The guy's like, oh, yeah, I lost that. My wedding ring back in 1973.
Wow.
Whoa.
It sat in that car engine while the car was being driven, while the car sat, while the car was waiting to be bought for parts, while it was towed away. The ring sat right there in the engine. But he did get a new wedding ring. His wife was like, where's your wedding ring? You got to get a new one of those. So thankfully, they didn't wait for him to find it. Like, how many years later?
Marriage has a lot of mileage on it, doesn't it?
That's right.
You'll always wake up on the right side of the bed when you start your day with Steve, Therese, and Randy on Family Life. A friend you can turn to.
The number one team in the country as far as the major of the big schools is... I thought you were going to yell like Gonzaga.
I was going to say Gonzaga, but I was like, can it possibly be true?
No, it's not Gonzaga.
I knew
It's University of Tennessee. And here's the reason I bring it up. Their head coach, Rick Barnes, who has things in perspective, he says, number one, I mean, yeah, it's important, but that ranking kind of thing, it really doesn't mean anything right now, and it's all kind of fleeting anyway. He says his number one concern as a coach and his number one goal, he wants players to finish their careers keeping sports in perspective. He wants them to grow up and be good Christian men. His son is a missionary, and here's what he said. He goes, yeah, we need to take advantage of college basketball and doing all these kind of things, but we need to be more serious about our faith. He said his family, it was about 10 years ago, they went from being cultural Christians to God-centered Christians. Interesting perspective from Rick
There's
Barnes.
a difference, yeah.
So he's number one in the country right now, but no matter where they end up during the season, he has his focus on God as number one.
While you're packing your lunch, they're packing your mornings with a whole lot of fun. It's Steve, Therese, and Randy on Family Life. A friend you can turn to.
Well, they first showed up in 1866 and have appeared every year since then until this year. You're not going to be able to buy and give out the Sweetheart Candy Hearts this Valentine's Day because the company that made them went out of business. However, the Sweethearts brand was sold to another company, and they say they will make the little heart-shaped candies, but since it takes about 11 months to produce the 8 billion candy hearts needed, there isn't enough of time to get them ready this year. So for the first time in 153 years, no sweetheart
No more chalk
Fine with me.
candies.
No more chalk to eat around Valentine's Day. You would think 11 months they would
those.
taste better if it took that long to make them.
Right.
You think they would taste
Although
better.
that does explain why they taste the way they do. They've been sitting around for a
Well,
while.
that's true. And by the way,
they served them
hey,
fresh.
let me go on the record. Those things don't work. Because when I was in like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade,
Yeah.
I would give
Yeah.
all the little ones to all the pretty girls that said,
Yeah.
be mine.
Hug
And-
me.
Yeah, and none of them had anything to do with me.
Right?
It was the candy. That was the problem, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, right. They're
Always
like-
the candy.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
If you mean it, say it with chocolate.
You know we're friends because we're already on a first-name basis. It's Family Life Mornings with Steve, Therese, and Randy from Family Life. A friend you can turn to.
Wade Phillips. Wade is the defensive coordinator for the Rams, and he showed up wearing his father's sheepskin coat as well as his cowboy hat. And his father, Bum Phillips, was a coach in the NFL for many, many years, and Wade wanted to honor his dad, so he showed up wearing the coat himself, just in memory of his father, which is a pretty cool gesture.
That is a neat thing. Yeah, you could use that outside here right about now.
I'm glad there's a story behind it.
Why?
Because otherwise you see that coat and you're like, what is he thinking? Right? it's a pretty big fashion statement
Yes,
there.
it is. It is.
A little serious, a little silly. A perfect balance to start your day. Family Life Mornings.
They were talking about millions and millions of people all at the same time in these sub-zero temperatures, just as the storm came across, and you had Chicago impacted, New York City impacted, and I mean, there were people in Kansas who were, in freezing cold temperature. You don't think about any place that far south, but do you realize that Hawaii has even suffered in this storm? So here's a report.
Waikiki, slightly overcast and a few raindrops. Right now, the temperature is 75 degrees. We are certainly not immune to the cold that is sweeping across the country. Here at Kewalo, you can see just a few people in the water braving the temperatures. This morning, it got down to the low 60s, which we haven't seen in quite some time. We've seen people in sweaters, socks, and slippers. Definitely a long sleeve kind of day.
Another thing you might not realize about Hawaii is when she says people in socks and slippers, we think of like bedroom slippers. Yeah. On Hawaii, they call like those slide-in sandals, like those Adidas sandals, not flip-flops, but sandals. They call those slippers. So people in Hawaii, it's so cold that people are wearing socks and sandals, which is...
It's not a good look.
That's tragic.
It's tragic. Right. Get those Hawaiian shirts along with the sandal.
Right.
They are in big trouble.
Start your day with 3 good eggs who go over easy. It's Steve, Therese, and Randy on Family Life, a friend you can turn to.
Cuddle Clones. Okay, it's not a bad name, I suppose, but it's a company that will custom make your slippers look like your dog. And I just thought that Cuddle Clones wasn't the best name ever.
No.
Doesn't it dust? So we thought, we'd be better. You'd be better at this.
Arch Arfs. How about that?
It's fun to say. Arch Arfs.
It's
Arch Arfs.
funny
Like when
to
your
say.
feet are hurting a lot after the long day and you say your dogs are barking? How about that one? I mean, that one just, my dogs are maybe not a great name.
I can't really decide.
Okay, what's yours?
'cause I've got Tootsie Terriers.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Tootsie
Okay,
Terriers.
or this one, though, could be the winner. Slip-ups. Like slippers
pops.
and then
slip
pups. Slip-ups.
Slip-ups. I like that.
Or, I mean, it's got to kind of psychologically mess with your dog because these are slippers that look just like them. So
Right.
what would you say to your dog if you want them to go get slippers that look like them? You'd say, fetch your face.
Fetch your face. I like that. What's your name? Is that in your name?
Bruce from Fredonia, and the company name is Loafer Spaniels.
Loafers.
Now, see, that
Spaniels.
describes it better than Cuddle Clones to me.
Yes.
My name's Chris, and I live in Savona, and I have a new company name of Canine Cozy.
I'm not sure. Fetch your face is
Family Life Mornings with Steve, Therese, and Randy. Thanks for making us part of your day. We're a friend you can turn to.